Arthur Godfrey, really started a big talking point. As I said to you, we'd never really heard of him over here. And it's fascinating to find out exactly what a major career he really had. And what was interesting was it got me thinking, as you can imagine, what do you mean, a rarity deal? I know, but it really did get me thinking because I had a privilege when I was over in New York of appearing on a very famous theatre, which was used for the very first big chat show way back in the early 1950s. So I thought I'd share those memories with you. As ever, let me explain. That's right, I was on a trip to New York and we were working for a major news channel at the time, Fox News, and we were there to film because I was lucky enough to appear in brace yourselves, Chicago, the musical on Broadway. Billy Flynn, that's right, I have the proof, and people are still on tablets after it, but there you go. But what's interesting here, you see, is that we rehearsed the particular segments, unbeknown to me, in a hotel off 44th Street. And at the side of that street was, of course, the Hudson Theatre. And they'd saved the theatre and incorporated it as like a conference room. But now it's back, I know, active as a major theatre. Now, I didn't realise this until I got back to London, that this was the stage that Elvis Presley, Barbara Streisand, all had appeared on. And this was because the man who really inspired me, in fact, I did a lot of research into him, Steve Allen. Remember the late night chat show, Steve Allen on NBC? Now, a lot of people didn't realise that he broke ground. He was the first people to go live, go out into the audience, go out into the street. You know what we see now? He really did start all of that. Brilliant pianist, appeared in movies, did so much, of course, to be, well, really break ground, brought the guests on the unknowns, what we now call reality TV. And so I wanted to share that with you. Do you remember Steve Allen? Because when you think about it, if you look online, there's quite a bit about him, but not a phenomenal amount. And when people talk about the chat show kings, they talk about, Dick Cavett, don't they? Johnny Carson, people like that. Even in today's terms now, the late, who not late, but, Letterman, who was brilliant for many years, Jay Leno, my favorite, of course, late night, Joan Rivers. But, Steve Allen was the person that broke the mold. And then seemingly he seems to have got lost. Now, a lot of people say that's because everything was done live, and it was done live from that theatre. The Hudson, I couldn't believe it, when I found all of this thing out. And when you go, I've got to tell you, the theatre's not that big. Behind the scenes is not that big, but when you're standing in the wings, realizing that the brilliant Elvis Presley stood in the very same place and apparently was so nervous he virtually had to be pushed on to the show to perform. I mean, he was young, let's not forget, and this was live. What a career. So do let me know, because obviously, it's love to share those memories. And again, for anybody else around the world, do let me know who your big cheeses were in your part of the world. Who were the people that you watched on television, maybe every single night? I mean, recently we told you, didn't we, over here in the United Kingdom, they did a drama about Noel Gordon, who was the doyen of a big soap opera over here called Crossroads. Oh, yes, that's right. And then, but really, that was not really that big until the 70s when it was transmitted across the United Kingdom. Originally, it was only in the Midlands. Huge star in the Midlands, not necessarily across the United Kingdom. But back to Steve Allen. What were your memories of the brilliant chat show king? A real pioneer. As ever, thank you so much for watching, as ever.